Thank you so very much. Thank you so very much, Democrats. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so very much. Thank you so very much, and I'm excited to be here tonight. And I want to thank Debbie Wasserman Schultz. We've been working together for so many years, and I can tell you, ladies and gentlemen, I know she sleeps with her fist balled up because she's the worst nightmare to any Republican or anyone that's standing against the people of goodwill. Debbie, thank you so very much. I just want to say very quickly that working 67 counties throughout this state, I've had an opportunity to run into a number of Democratic leaders. And I just want to thank all of the Democrats, the DEC presidents, and all of the office holders for the state committee men and women that serve nationally too. Also to our Democratic Party for doing an outstanding job and have been working since 2002 to set forth the kind of environment so that we can all have victory this upcoming November. Give them a round of applause, or give yourselves a round of applause. I want to also recognize my family that's here tonight. My wife, Leslie Meek, who's sitting there, my daughter, Lauren, and my son, Kendrick Jr. But I also want to give special recognition to the woman that I give all of the credit and the reason why I'm in public service. Growing up in Liberty City down in Miami, seeing a lady who struggled her entire life and not only representing our family well, but also representing this state. Someone was educated up at Florida A&M and went to the University of Michigan, not to see snow for the first time, but because of segregation, moved back to the state of Florida, was taught at Florida A&M, was called by Mary McLeod Bethune to ask to be their first female basketball coach, taught there, and then moved down to Miami-Dade Junior College at that time, served not only as a physical education teacher, but also a community outreach specialist. And then in 1979, as a single mother with 3 children, divorced twice, working at a junior college, saying that she wanted to be a state representative to represent the people of goodwill in South Florida. That lady ended up being a state senator, ended up being one of the first African Americans to go to Congress since Reconstruction with Alcee Hastings and Corinne Brown. That woman is my mother, a strong Democrat, Congresswoman Carrie Meek. I'm so glad that she's here. I'm so glad that she stood up on behalf of not only the people of goodwill, but women and everyone else who needed someone to fight for them. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, I am almost overly excited about this election season. I'm excited because we have so much going on in the state of Florida. In this United States Senate race that was supposed to be uneventful in some folks' minds. When I started out leaving a safe congressional seat, saying that I wanted to be your next United States Senator, stand up on behalf of all Floridians, make sure that we get health care, make sure that we protect our environment, make sure that we create jobs, make sure that we move to new energy technology that will employ individuals that have GEDs and also PhDs. Make sure we stand up for working men and women. I got into public service not to have a career, but an opportunity to serve. And I left Florida A&M University serving as a state trooper on the road in highways and byways here and being appointed by the great late Lawton Childs, who served as a state senator, U.S. state senator and U.S. senator, and also governor. I was proud to do that. Then to run for the State House of Representatives, to serve not only standing up on behalf of men and women, but making sure that everyone had a voice. Standing up against Jeb Bush when he was at Category 5 strength when we passed class size, and we stood against his thinking on One Florida, making sure that we brought more democracy to it. I want to thank my friend Tony Hill that stood with me, and many of you here in this room. I'm going to tell you the reason why we're going to win. We're going to win because I give people a reason to vote. I'll tell you the reason why Alex Sink is going to be the next governor of the state of Florida. When I win the Democratic nomination for this particular race, I'm going to go throughout Florida, making sure that everyone knows that I'm standing up on behalf of working men and working women, that I'm there to protect the health care vote that took place in Congress, rights that Floridians have now that it did not have before we stood up. I want to thank my brothers and sisters in SEIU and other people that stood up on behalf of working men and working women. I look forward to giving that kind of voice. When we win this nomination, we will have an opportunity to let the world know that Democrats that not only put me on the ballot by signature the first time in the history of the state of Florida, and I want to thank all of you who did sign a petition, but independents and Republicans will see their way in voting for us. Leading that ticket will allow us to win seats that we have not been able to win in the legislative districts, school board races, local elected officials that will say that they're Democrats, and also congressional races. I look forward to giving that voice and giving that reason for people to come out to vote. What makes me different than the other two individuals that will be running after this nomination? Well, I'll be the only one that hasn't run as a Republican in the past. I'll be the only one that has the support of working men and women overwhelmingly. I'll be the only one that firefighters, police officers, school teachers, building trades, and the rest of the folks that are along with the AFL-CIO that understands what it means to punch in and punch out every day. I'll be the only 100% pro-choice candidate in the general election. I'll be the only one that has a 100% environmental record from the League of Conservation Voters before and after the oil spill. I think that these are qualities that people will look at. I will be the only one that stood up for tax breaks for the middle class. I'll be the only one that understands what it means to serve the state of Florida in a non-elected position as a state trooper. And I will tell you this, ladies and gentlemen, I will be the only one that has a track record that stood outside of the state capitol and found a way to bring about smaller class sizes in our state so teachers can teach and children can learn. I'll be the only one that stood up to help local communities through very rough times that we're going through right now, and voting not only for the stimulus, but voting for an opportunity to have high-speed rail between Tampa and Orlando that will create a number of jobs in this state, an opportunity for every Floridian. I'll be the only one, ladies and gentlemen. I'll be the only one with a real story. I'll be the only one that served in the service industry as a sky cap. Before I came up here on this stage tonight, I went back and, as I do at every dinner, went back and shook the hands of those individuals that set this food down and set these tables tonight to let them know how much we truly appreciate what they do. And the reason why we're meeting here tonight is to make sure that their children and make sure that they have health care, make sure that they have a good education system, make sure that they have someone in the United States Senate that will stand up for them. I wanted to make sure that they knew that their vote would not be wasted. That's the reason why I must be the nominee. That's the reason why I need to be on that ballot in November. And that's the reason why not only President Obama, President Clinton, Alex Sink, and along with a number, 250 local elected officials are in supporting my campaign right now on this day to become the next United States Senator from the state of Florida. As I close, a lot will be said in the coming weeks. But this primary, Democrats, is not only a dress rehearsal, it's real business. Enough of this Tea Party business and the strength of the Tea Party. Enough of this, well, I don't know how Democrats are going to do. Well, let me tell you something. We are incentivized more than any other state to do what we've been doing and registering voters and making sure that individuals show up at the polls. It's not Republicans, it's Democrats that have over 700,000 additional registered Democrats in this state than Republicans. There's a reason why. With this oil spill, ladies and gentlemen, we're incentivized. Alan Boyd got up here and talked about what's really going on. People are out of work. Families are destroyed because of the fishing industry and oyster industry has been ruined by a human-made disaster that could have been avoided. We have a major cleanup, ladies and gentlemen. And we have to have a serious voice in the United States Senate to serve with Bill Nelson, who's also supporting my campaign and making sure that BP is not let off the hook on the cleanup or the compensation of those that have been affected by this oil spill. It was a Democratic voice that said no to offshore oil drilling. And as the state legislature comes together and Republican leaders start talking about how they're going to block a constitutional amendment from being placed on the ballot, it will be Democratic voices in the legislature saying no and fighting those individuals and special interests so that we can protect Floridians and our environment for years to come, ladies and gentlemen. We must stand on behalf of the state of Florida. I give you this promise. There's no one in this race for the United States Senate that's going to work harder than I'm going to work. There's no one in this race that can tell Floridians the story of fight and struggle and commitment and service than I can tell it. No one else has the kind of support that I have in this campaign of real Democrats that work 365 days a year and making sure that we have Democrats in this state that will turn out to vote and stand up on behalf of the people of goodwill. Ladies and gentlemen, I am looking forward to not only engaging all of you in this room as I have since January of last year when I announced that I would run for the United States Senate. I look forward, after the work, after everyone has voted, to start on day one, getting ready for 2012. We must have an extra reason to get out to vote this time around in the primary and in the general election. And it's very important, ladies and gentlemen, that we elect Bill Nelson in 2012, re-election to the United States Senate. And it's very important that Florida goes to Barack Obama in 2012. There's a reason why the Republicans placed their convention in Tampa, Florida, because they know that the yellow brick road for the president to be re-elected to the United States presidency comes through Florida. So I will tell you, I will be the lead foot soldier on the field, not only stirring up Democrats, but stirring up independents and stirring up Republicans to let them know that they have rights that they did not have before the president was elected. They have health care. Those individuals that were uninsurable now are insurable. Seniors have a prescription drug donut hole plan that's paid for, ladies and gentlemen, unlike the Republican plan. And that everyone will receive an evaluation so that we can save money in our Medicare system. So, Democrats, I'm excited and I'm blessed to be in the position that I'm in tonight. And through perseverance and hard work, I ask for you to stick in there, vote early on August the 9th, show the enthusiasm for Democrats that are on the ticket, and then come August the 25th, we're all going to come together and we're going to make it all right here in the state of Florida. We're going to let the country know that we're standing up strong and that we're going to change the way things are here in Florida. And when you look at my campaign sign and you see a solid blue Florida, that's what it's going to be after the voting takes place on November the 2nd. Thank you so very much. God bless you. I look forward to being your next United States Senator.